Hello there, esports fans. I'm Richard Lewis, and welcome to ELEAGUE Weekly. It's week 3, and we welcomed in 4 new teams to Group C. Let's take a closer look at them.
Let's talk about a team that is a complete team, in my opinion, when they're at full strength. Astralis.
Yeah, look at Zonic in there. Look how happy he looks to be here. He is.
Man, he looks like
he looks
dormant.
so mad.
Yeah, he's like.
But
why
obviously,
am I here?
I mean, we could talk all we want about any of these players. Device, the big superstar for this team. You know, this transition that he's had into the main opping role is going to be big now because he's had a couple months with it, and they're going to start, you know, really using him as a focal point. We just mentioned NRG using Peter as their focal point, the opper. Device is in the same kind of situation where they want to build tactics around him, and he's going to be much, much more reliable for Astralis. You know what you're going to get out of him, and just such a beast of a player. Also coming in, even without Kerrigan, I mean, the reason why we say that this team is going to be fine without their in-game leader, guys like KRB, the new addition, just so much talent, very, very young, Dupree and Device, really good duo that's been playing together for so long. I mean, there's so much talent on this squad that they're going to be able to overcome anything they lose in terms of tactics.
I know the NRG boys quite well. I actually spent some time in their team house. So you can tell us about them, though. I talk too much.
Peter, Fudley, Dobby, Tapsin, Lydia. 2 new players in Fudley and Tapsin. Tapsin, it wasn't a surprise after his insane performance for them at Counterpit. He became their 4th, and now Fudley their 5th.
And here's their op at PTR.
Yeah.
And just for the people at home that maybe haven't followed it, he had a very weird injury. He broke his leg on an aeroplane.
Let's not embarrass him. Before his injury, his leg injury, he was actually playing maybe. He was probably the top operator in North America before the injury, just in terms of how well he was playing. Online, at least. Online, he was their best player. He performed really well, and I feel like if he could get back to that form, he's that key factor to them doing really focused.
This is SK Gaming. They've been in a bit of resurgent form lately, but I still think they're a hit-and-miss team. They did make it to the finals at Gfinity. Why don't you tell us about them, Moses?
Yeah, I mean, they are very much a hit-and-miss team, but this is, I mean, it's crazy. Pimp had this time at the top where people saying he was an incredible up-and-coming player. He was about to be there. Magis Boy is the other big one. These two guys,
Jake.
These 2 guys have got to take the next step if this team wants to come. But, I mean, here's the big thing. This team is well known for the fact, and they've even acknowledged it themselves in interviews and just talking about their games, very volatile in terms of the environment they have while playing. Very, very easy to tilt and just blow up. But this is one of those teams that, you know, that everyone says this is why Denmark has so much talent, is that this is another team that's pretty scary.
Let me take a look at the team they got to beat. They've got a lot of talent, especially we highlighted JDM. We've said this #1 AWP spot in NA is up for grabs. Somebody can take it. It can be JDM. It's like nobody wants it right now, Mo.
For a while, he was the #1 opper in NA. When Stadoodle was going through that huge slump of his, JDM was world-class opping, and not only that, he's been the best player on his team by far. The most consistent, at least, especially against top European teams. Ever since he joined for PTR, this team has kind of had still the same problems where they get close to beating these teams, but they don't always do.
Going into this week of ELEAGUE, we are kind of unfortunate that we are missing a player.
Astralis, unfortunately, one of their players couldn't make it to America, had problems with his visa.
Then we're going to play with our coach Sonic, because first of all, we didn't have time to bring in another player.
Therefore, we are more like focusing on our own individual play.
But I think they are so experienced and they are so skilled players that it will be really hard to beat them.
So Kerrigan is going to arrive on Wednesday. We're going to take the like normal approach in the games when he's back, like rely more on the teamwork like we previously have done. But right now it's more an individual approach we're doing. Therefore we like have to be on our A game.
The first match of week 3 saw the powerful Danish squad Astralis take on the American team NRG on cash. The Danes jumped out to an early lead, but NRG responded by winning 6 straight rounds.
Looking with 2 frags so far, Fugly Tapsin coming in, and again, it's a perfect round from NRG.
During the 20th round, Device recorded just the 3rd ace in ELEAGUE history for Astralis.
Device, though, with that defense, 2 quick kills there. He's going to be stopping this push before it can really get going onto that bomb plant. Device with getting the ace.
The contest went back and forth, but after 24 rounds, it was all tied at 12 each. That's when Astralis took control. They won the final 4 rounds to close out the map at 16-12.
But as they can't get the frag quickly enough, Sonic will eliminate him, and the round will go to Astralis. They will win the first map, Cash.
The second map of the series was set on train, and Astralis jumped out to an early lead, but yet again, NRG responded.
Fugly with a nice pop flash. How many can he get? Could be 3. He's got the bullets to do it, and indeed he will. That's the bomb as well. That is a nice bonus for Fugly.
At half-time, NRG led 8-7, and the Counter-Strike action got quite intense.
Comes with a P90, there's the first frag, the spray. It is not good, Tabson with a quad kill.
After 22 rounds, NRG had a 14-8 lead and looked to split the series at 1 each, but Astralis refused to lose. They charged back, winning the last 8 rounds to take the second map 16-14 and crush the hopes of NRG and their fans. The second match of day 1 was another American team versus a Danish squad, Counterlogic Gaming versus SK Gaming on Nuke. But unlike the first map of day 1, this contest was a rout from the get-go.
JDM trying to mount an offense there, but 3 players have been lost, including JDM. CLG getting cut to pieces here.
SK Gaming showed no mercy, quickly disposing of CLG by a final score of 16-3. The second map of the series was set on the seldom used overpass, and CLG looked like they were going to turn the tables on SK Gaming. They sprinted out to a 7-0 lead before SK finally broke their streak. Throughout the rest of the contest, SK continued to close the gap, finally catching CLG at 14 all.
For both teams, 1 versus 3, and Magic's boy, they may never see him coming. Tarek will get taken down from the back, and we will be evened up.
It appeared that SK Gaming had all the momentum on their side, but CLG salvaged a 1-1 split in the series by winning the final 2 rounds to close out the second map with a 16-14 victory.
My name is Josh Marzano, and my alias is JDM64. I play for Counterlogic Gaming, CLG. I started Counter-Strike back in 1.5, so like 15 years ago. I'm the primary operator for our team.
JDM's one of the best oppers in the world. JDM, very close. If he misses a shot, he could be going down, but he's not going to miss.
I just try to open up sights, and I try to get those impact kills with the op.
JDM going aggressive once again. What a performance here from JDM.
There's so much strategy behind the game, and when you're with your team too, there's a lot of communication. You have to make sure that you're mentally focused 100% of the time. There's a lot to the game that people don't see and don't know, that it's just, it makes you want to play the game more. I think our biggest rival right now is probably Cloud9 and Liquid. Any team in the top 4, top 5 in NA, you know, it's always going to be a good game. TBS with the whole television thing, that's just going to expand the, you know, the fan group. There's so many people watching this. You know, we're performing in front of everyone. I can't even imagine winning that amount of money. That changes a lot of things in your life, and it's something that you really want to win. So it's going to make you prepare and practice even harder just to, you know, achieve that.
The third and final match of day 1 saw CLG taking on Astralis. CLG looked emotionally spent after their exhausting series with SK Gaming. From the opening round onwards, this contest was a bloodbath. Astralis completely dominated the American squad, leading 14-1 at halftime on their way to a comprehensive 16-2 trouncing. The final map of the day was set on Dust 2. CLG tried to recompose themselves after the rout on the first map, but Astralis was just too good.
CLG getting torn to pieces here.
Counterlogic Gaming kept the first half fairly competitive, only trailing 9-6 at half-time, but then Astralis displayed why they are considered one of the top teams in the highly competitive European Counter-Strike arena. They rattled off 7 consecutive rounds for a 16-6 victory and finished day 1 4-0.
That's going to be that 16-6 again. A thoroughly dominating performance from Astralis.
Astralis distinguished themselves as the favourites to take the Group C crown during Week 3 of ELEAGUE. The first match of day 2 was between the 2 American squads, CLG and NRG. These teams know each other quite well. In fact, Fugly played for CLG until he recently switched over to NRG. His new team, NRG, got off to a strong start and held an early 5-2 advantage. but that's when CLG went on a rampage. They took 12 straight rounds for a dominating 14-5 lead. God B finally stopped the streak for NRG.
Oh, that is violence there from God B. Doesn't stop there, does it? God B is just eating them up.
But it was too little, too late.
Look like this.
What is going on at the moment?
Like this, Dad.
Why is this happening? Why is this happening?
Counterlogic Gaming took the first map of the series, 16-7. The second map of the match was set on Dust 2, and it turned out to be one of the best contests of the week. Throughout the first half, the two teams battled back and forth. At the break, NRG led 9-6. Beginning with the second pistol round, CLG went on a tear, winning 7 out of the next 8 rounds to take a 13-10 lead. This is when NRG took a tactical timeout to regroup. It was a wise decision because once play resumed, NRG flipped the script on CLG, taking 6 of the last 7 rounds for a thrilling 16-14 comeback victory. The two teams split the series at 1-1.
Hey everybody, it's Rachel here on the floor with Kerrigan from Australis, and we're so glad to see you, Kerrigan, because there have been a couple issues with getting you here to the United States. So can you tell us the story, I suppose, of the visa issues that you faced?
Yeah, I guess there was a problem with me because I was on a PR trip in Iran back in 2012. So basically new rules applied since 21st January, which means if you've been to Iran, you can't apply on an ESTA. So that was mainly the issue and the reason why that's why the flight company didn't want me to board the plane. So when I went home, I had to apply for a working visa here for the US. So I have visa for the next 10 years now.
You have a visa for 10 years now. You can come and go from the US. You can play all the Counter-Strike here you want.
The second match of day 2 saw Australis take on their fellow Danish countrymen, SK Gaming. Entering day 2, Australis were the clear favourites to win the Group C crown, but SK Gaming shocked everyone with a dominating performance from start to finish on train. SK took the first 5 rounds and never looked back on their way to a 16-6 dismantling of Australis. The second map of the series was set on Overpass, and once again, SK Gaming got off to an early lead. But after the 8th round, Australis became much more focused and organised in their strategy. They took 13 of the next 15 rounds to win 16-7 and split the series with SK Gaming at 1 game apiece. Australis finished the tournament with a 5-1 record and the #1 seed heading into tomorrow's semi-finals.
I am here with Zonic, and Zonic, I have to ask right off the bat, what is it like to have Kerrigan back? Because the gang's all together now.
Oh, I hate it. I wanted to play, of course, but no, kidding aside, it was really good to have him back here, and we are fortunate that he's our in-game leader again, so looking forward for the rest of the group.
The final competition of day 2 saw a matchup between NRG and SK Gaming. NRG needed to win both maps to claim the 3rd seed in the semi-final brackets and avoid Australis in the semi-finals. The first map was set on Nuke, and NRG won 7 of the first 9 rounds. They looked to be in total control. That's when SK Gaming completely changed the momentum during the pivotal 10th round of the map. SK won the 10th and proceeded to win 13 of the next 14 rounds for a convincing 16-8 win. The last map of day 2 was on Cobblestone, and because NRG failed to capture the first map of this series, they no longer had an opportunity to move up to the 3rd seed. All of their motivation was gone, and it showed in their performance. SK Gaming, on the other hand, showed no mercy on NRG. SK Gaming sliced and diced their opponent.
Oh, what? This guy is out of this world.
On their way to a dominating 16-5 win, they ended the round-robin stage with a 4-2 record. So, heading into day 3 semi-final round, #1 seed Australis will take on 4th-seeded NRG, followed by the 2nd-seeded SK Gaming and the 3rd-seeded CLG. Stay tuned for an all-access feature on Counterlogic Gaming.